started off with the Young Author Scheme because I love writing. A HOD from a school asked me, why don't you coach my kids to write a book? And as usual, I jumped in. We have gone on to mentor, to build young authors from 2003 to 2021, probably close to about 9,000 young authors in all.
After making it into the semi-finals for the Hippo 2020 and English competition, I was recommended this young authors workshop, and my parents had encouraged me to do so to give myself more exposure.
I happen to be a bit of a bookworm, so I think they enrolled me in this scheme as they know of my love for books, and they wanted me to have a feel of how publishing goes behind the scenes.
So my parents encouraged me to enroll to enhance my writing skills and gain bigger opportunities with the stories I create.
My form teacher actually nominated me when I was in primary 4. She nominated me and some of my other classmates to join this Young Author Scheme.
The Young Readers Digest was given to us in school, and then at the very back of it, the creative writing workshops where they advertise, oh, you could write your own book. And I was like, I never have the motivation to do any of this myself, so I just did it.
This year, it's a 2-day workshop, about 4 hours each time, and the participants basically get mentored into what is a story. And at the end of it, they will write about a 1,000-word story. The top 3 will be mentored by me, a 30-minute mentoring session individually with me to develop their story to be entered into the Asian Young Author Award. We also offer mentoring sessions to those that write pretty well, and they can also enter for the Asia Young Author Award.
My writing skills and experiences were still very raw. But then at that time, I was also starting to build my passion for writing a bit. In my free time, I was think of some story plots, or I'll just write down some story ideas I have. It taught me how to effectively convey my message better and how to design the storybook more effectively.
We weren't limited to what we were limited to at school. For example, we had to follow a set of pictures, a title, and we had to write according to that.
They give you a box and they put you inside and they say, please write in this box. Creative writing is completely different. This is the box you had before. Now imagine the box doesn't exist and you write however much you want about whatever you want.
I always had an interest in writing, but I had no clear direction and I didn't know where to start. But the Young Author Scheme taught me how to write a good story, and it gave me the chance to publish my own book.
When you tell people that, or you tell your friends, hey, I wrote a book, the first thing they're going to ask is, could you let me have a read? It becomes a way of sharing something that you have written with the people around you, and so generally it's been positive. Back then it was a big deal and it was pretty great.
So my book is called Bathtub Mermaid, and it's about a teenage boy who is one day swallowed whole by a bathtub and finds himself underwater. My little sister quite enjoyed it.
It made me feel as though I'm in a bathtub swimming in gel. So when I read it, I even feel short of breath. So that for me is the best scene in the book.
It's called Wolf Trials.
The epilogue, where it was remarkably written in a sense that I thought the ending should be that way, but there's a twist to the ending.
Ophir, child of Lavan. Ophir is a child who dreams to become a brave warrior like Set the Glorious to escape poverty.
Don't push yourself to get risk to become the best. To me, this code, it's not only for the book, but it applies to us.
Gabby's Wish, and it's about a piece of chewing gum who is rather small, but she has a big heart, and her only wish is to help people.
It's called Artificial Fire. You know how you can get the actual physical copies of your book? When it came out, my mom was like, I want to buy 50, and then she started distributing them to her friends and look at what my daughter did.
I was mainly inspired by how many children that were 11 years old to 18, where people had such creative ideas and they could all of a sudden converse through the sessions that we had together.
I enjoyed bonding with the other participants who were sitting around me. We like to read each other's stories and give each other's ideas.
Exercising your imagination, we kind of received a lot of encouragement to think about what we'd like to write about.
It also helped me to hone my writing skills and my command of the English language, which has greatly helped me up until today.
It made me write better in my English essays for exams or even worksheets. And it also helped my history because it involved a lot of writing at the time.
It has also opened my mind to learn so much more about the world around us.
By pure chance, I saw that Miss Catherine had joined Telegram immediately because, you know, the nature of Miss Catherine is that she's like, "Hi, I'm working on this, want to help out?" And then I ended up resuming contact with her.
I don't remember interacting much with Miss Khoo back then, but I remember feeling very grateful to her for starting this program, which gave us all the opportunity to publish our own book.
Catherine, if you know her personally or whether you know her professionally, she's a very creative lady and she has a very interesting zest for life. She's always on the go, always looking for new ideas to do things in a different way, exploring new opportunities, trying out new partnerships and collaborations.
Eileen was my very first editor and she brought a little bit of fun, you know, and also a lot of like the child in her and the young authors, and she communicated very well with the young authors.
As a writer myself, I find it very empowering to work with Catherine because she manages on a very creative standpoint when she does manage the team. She gives us a lot of wiggle room to explore our strengths.
Work environment to be very easygoing yet efficient. And I think that is something that professionally I want to be as well, both as a person as well as an editor, is to become a very accommodating person like Catherine.
Gwen is actually, if I'm not wrong, a final year lit student in NTU. She brings her own perspective and she's in her 20s, so I do feel that she relates pretty well with the young authors. Same generation. In fact, some of the times when she does interviews and they talk about some actors, you know, I'm like, okay, so who is that? Different generation, but yeah, I'm glad for all my editors.
I was very fortunate to have a computer in my house very early in life. I'd actually started my first blog when I was 11. She was a huge part of my writing journey those few years.
I think that was when I realized what Catherine has always been fighting for, that kids can write. That kids have tons of ideas and kids can create content for other kids.
I had Carlo, who's right now back in the Philippines. He was an amazing editor. He was, I think, a communications person, did radio, fantastic voice, but he worked a lot on the magazines as well. The editors that I have actually worked so well with the kids, you know, they learn from the kids, and with that, I think it became very much a team effort.
The Young Author Scheme seems to present something different. I mean, it's not just a writing workshop. It takes you behind the scenes of how books are published. So it brings you from actually writing a story to the finished product.
I was hoping that he would be able to develop more interest in writing after attending the YAS workshop.
Children who are interested in story writing, give them attention and moral support. Like, for example, joining workshop or joining this. So we have to encourage our children on all the things that we know our kids is capable with.
The Young Author Scheme started in 2003 and we have gone on to the Malaysia Young Author Award, the Philippines Young Author Award, and this year, India Young Author Awards. I hope to bring the Young Author Award to China, to also Indonesia.
Because I was part of the alumni, I got the chance to judge 2019 to 2020's Young Author Awards.
First of all, there was a lot of scripts to read through. I was quite amazed at their talent actually.
There was such a wide range of genres of stories, and each story had a different message, different moral, and a different way that touched people's hearts.
It was through Zoom. I got to see some of the participants' faces, and I was actually quite taken aback because I didn't expect such young people to have such mature sense of language and vocabulary.
One of the special things about Young Author Scheme is that it cherishes your content, and that's not something that you can get very much elsewhere when you publish anything, be it on the internet or through any other platform.
I have the Catherine Khoo Writing Foundation, which hopes to give a voice to the marginalized, especially children, to tell their stories. In the Philippines, we went to help a school in Cavite, and I hope actually for them to be trained to write. One of them hopefully can come into the Young Author Award, or a few of them. I'm looking for publisher partners or education partners because the Young Author Award grooms the child, gives the child perspectives that, in real life they cannot become or something, or they long for. So writing is another way into your own world, because writing is something that we share, and in sharing we learn so much about ourselves.
Having your content valued unconditionally is very hard to find. It's very special. And that's what allows you to grow. When you yourself and people around you value your content, that gives you the space, the safe space to create and grow.
Explore my own creations, expand my imagination with UEC.